Hello students, today we'll be taking up Internet Basics and HTML. That is an elective for you. The code is PCACE 136. The internal marks for this is 10 and the exam will be of 40 marks. So let us begin through introduction. So what is an internet? It is nothing but a combination of two words, that is interconnection plus networks, which comes to as internet, or simply nowadays the word the net is popular. So what is this internet actually? It is nothing but network of networks. Now what is a network then? It could be a network of any size and type. The thousands of networks come together forms a network of networks. Then, what is this a single network? Networking is nothing but a thousands of computers connected together. And through these thousands of computers, millions of users will be using the internet. So this totally comes to us with the word internet. How this internet actually came into existence, or simply put, what is the evolution of an internet? So, as we have the evolution of computers, there is also this evolution of internet. So what happened actually? In 1969, the foundation of internet was laid and it was called as ARPANET, that is Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. Now why was this built actually? It was laid by the Department of Defense, that is DoD of United States of America. They wanted to create a computer network that could continue to function even in the event of a disaster. That means if there was a war, some kind of nuclear war was to happen and half of the networks was destroyed, still they wanted rest of the part to work. So this was their aim, and that is why they came up with the idea of this ARPANET, and which was linked with the US scientific and academic researchers, which is the base of the internet that we have today. So after that, in 1980, NSF, that is National Science Foundation, was created. This institution or this foundation created NSFNet. So it had a few more advantages than what was there as a ARPANET. That is, it was initially designed to have 5 supercomputers to be connected of the major universities of NSF. Later, over the period of time, what happened? The network expanded to sites for business, universities, government, etc., and finally becoming the network that we have today. And it is also called as the internet now. So in 1980s, this again the news groups and the email came into existence. So what is this news group? We'll see in the coming slides. But to give you an introduction to it, it is nothing but a group or a chat room where people will discuss or debate or comment on the any subject of their interest. So it could be a current event that is happening, or it could be some scientific research, or it could be some political situation, anything for that matter. It's a group and people just discuss about it. It is not actually the traditional news that we actually say. And email, of course, you all know an electronic mail where we can send the information or send the letters through electronic medium. So that is an email. And University of Minnesota created Gopher. Now, what is this Gopher? It is nothing but a special menu-driven system for accessing files. And when we say it as a accessing system for accessing files, it is something related or something like a search engine itself. So indices such as Archie and Wide Area Information Server, that is WAIS, these are nothing but, you can say, one of the first search engines that were used in the internet to get the information. So before, what was done is, the all the files or all the web pages whatever were there, they were given some name or they were given some index. And it is like, the text first page of your textbook where you have the index or all the things we have, like in what chapter is in what page and what that chapter has. So that is an index. So these web pages were also given indices and they were maintained accordingly. So till 1990 these things were going on, and during 1990 the World Wide Web came into existence. Now, what is this World Wide Web? It is nothing but only some of the sites could be hosted here and anybody could actually access it. During 1993, there are only 130 websites, but now there are millions and billions of it, and each and everyone can have their own website now. If they give some payment for the domain, and they can just have their own website. And there are so many other blogs that actually give you a virtual websites that you can use for your personal use. So this is how the evolution of internet happened. Let us see some of the basic terms that we're using in this internet. The first and the foremost and the very popular one is www. As we have seen before, it is nothing but World Wide Web. So what is this World Wide Web? It is a collection of linked documents and pages stored on millions of computers and distributed across the world. The concept of the web began at CERN, that is CERN, that is the European Centre for Nuclear Research, Geneva in Switzerland, in the year 1989. Since then, www is the most popularly used internet subnetwork. See, we have to get to understand that internet and www are actually two different things. See, www is a system through which we can access the internet. So www has all the networks and the information in it that we can access, that is present in the internet. So what actually this is, or what is one of the most thing that we have in this www is nothing but a hypertext. What is a hypertext? We all are familiar with the link, right? Especially in the WhatsApp, we send you the link and you just click that link and it will direct it to another page, especially the YouTube page, right? How do we get this, or what is this? Something that will be turned into blue, right? A text that whatever it is there, when it is a hyperlink, it is turned blue, and you click that. So that blue lines, whatever is written, whatever is written in that blue color text, we call that as a hypertext. So what does it do? When you click that, whatever the document or whatever the information is on the net, it will directly move us from whatever page we are to the link specified address. So for that we call it as a hypertext links or hyperlinks, or simply we call it as a links. And the protocol that supports this kind of system, we call it as a HTTP, that is hypertext protocol, that is hypertext transmission protocol. And we also have this next is a web page. So what is this web page? See, you can compare this internet web page, website, or whatever it is to a textbook typically. So what is a web page? A textbook has a page, right? A book has a page. Similarly, anything you write on the internet or anything that you want to publish on the internet should be written in the format of a page. That is, it should have a starting, it should have some of the body, whatever the information it can write in that, and you have to end it. So this one page we call it as a web page. And to write this, we have a separate language and we call it as hypertext markup language. So, what does it do? It enables the hyperlinks to work. So, because of these hyperlinks, we can connect this one page to another. Then, what is a website? As I told you, we can connect one web page to another. The collection of such pages, we call it as a website. So, in a website, there will be so many pages and they are connected together. We call it as a website. Or simply put, you can compare it to a book where book has so many pages in it. Next is the home page. What can you refer a home page to in a book? It can be the front page, or you can also consider it as the index which has all the information whatever is there in the book. So that we call it as a home page. In a website, the first page whatever we see, we call that as a home page because it has all the information that is there in the website. And if you want to go to some other pages, there will be hyperlinks mentioned in that. So from that home page, you can directly shift to the whatever the hyperlink the page is addressed to. So that is a home page. Then what is a browser? Browser is nothing but you can compare it to a rack in a library where you have to go and find what are the books you need. So browser is also same thing. You go there, you search for the pages or the website whatever you need. You put the the words that you want to find, and it will give you the required result. And in that result, whatever is relevant to you, you can just click on it and get the information. Now, what is a URL? When you type something on that web browser in a search engine, you will get some of the list of the things that is related to your topic or your word that you have typed. And when you click any one of the searches that you have got, it will direct it to some other page, right? The actual content where that page is, where the information is there. So when you click that, it goes to that information, right? And when it goes there, you get a line in the title bar of the browser that we call it as a URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator. Why is it used? See, because every page on the internet or every web page has its own unique path or the address. To get there, you need to have this Uniform Resource Locator. You can simply say it as the path where you need to find this web pages. Next is we'll see the URL detail. How does it look? Actually, you are very familiar with this URL. So let us see what are this URL contains. First thing, it has the protocol, that is HTTP. You might have seen whenever you type any website name or something and you give a search, the first thing, even before you type the website, there will be HTTP, and now it is HTTPS, that is it is in the safer mode. Simply HTTP is prone to hacking or kind of information could be can be taken away from that. Your system may not be secure. So nowadays it is HTTPS, that is a secure version of HTTP. Okay, so first, the protocol whatever the system is using or you are using to access that page will be written, that is HTTP. Next is the domain name, where you will have to write the website of the system. Now, what is this website or the domain name? It is nothing but the name. It is like a unique name, a personal name that you give for your website. And it has three parts again: www, the World Wide Web, because all the websites are available, or possibly it is stuck together in a World Wide Web. So first thing is the www. Next thing is the unique name that you are given for your website. It is usually a noun. Whatever you want, you can give it there. Next is the .com or any of such things like .edu, .government, .net, .org. So all these are actually the full form of things like for see .com is nothing but commercial and non-profit organization. Edu is for education. Gov that is for governments, and MIL is for military sites, and net is for internet infrastructure and service providers. And organization can be any organization, that is non-profit organizations. And commerce is usually for a commercial and for-profit organization. So there are so many websites available, right? In that website also there will be some other it's not just a single website, and in that website you cannot find in all the things that you need. There will be some more files or pages that will be there in the website, and these files will be uploaded or will be stored in some servers under some folders and subfolder name. So that gives you the path. So next is the path which has folder name and a subfolder name. And next one is the file name. File name is nothing but actually where your information, whatever you want to find, will be there. That will be in the form of a file name. So example we have here is http://www.xyz.com/tutor/start, which are both again folder name and subfolder name, and slash main.htm, which is the name of the file. htm because this is a web file. This file is stored in the web format, that is to be uploaded to your web server. So that is why it's a htm. So other basic internet terms are a hypertext. So what is a hypertext? As we have seen before, it is nothing but a simple and consistent way to organize large data like text, images, pictures, videos. Simply we call it as a multimedia that is available on internet. So what we do, there are these systems where there are these multimedias where you need to move from one type of file to another. So for this we give a link, right? Whatever is written on that link, we call that as a hypertext because that is in blue and it is underlined. And you might have seen that once, if it is a first search and your first time you are visiting that, it will be blue in color. And once you press and go to the next, once you go to that page and come back again, you will see that will be have turned into magenta, right? So it doesn't mean that you cannot go to that page again. Of course you can go to that page, but it shows that you have visited this page once before. So that is for the user understanding. So that is hypertext. Next is internet service provider. See, all those things we have, like internet, we have maybe bandwidth, we have everything. But if we do not have a service provider who actually provides us the service of connecting our system to the internet, we cannot access the internet. So there are many service providers, and nowadays, since the mobile phone has come to so much popularity, we can have the internet in the phone itself, right? Our telecommunication people itself will be giving us that access to the internet. But in previous times it was mainly the MSN, that is Microsoft Network, and America Online, that is for Americans, and Yahoo. All these things provided this internet service. Nowadays we have so many who provide us this internet. In India we have especially BSNL, Airtel, or Jio, whatever they are providing us this information or internet service to us or to the user. Next is the web server. What is a web server? It is nothing but a computer equipped with the server software which provides a specific kind of services to the client software running on other computers. It is mainly like you might have seen sometimes when you have had to check for the marks or the results on your system, or in the cyber you might have gone, or you might have searched for the result in your system or your phone. You always got this, like, the server is busy, you cannot access now. please try after some time, server busy. So what is this server busy, or what is this server? That is nothing but your web server. So what does it do actually? The server queues the clients in the sense every individual user, in the sense your a laptop, a mobile phone, they are the clients. So it gives the clients the authority or the ability to connect to a server and get the information whatever it needs. So that we call it as a web server. And one more most important and everyday heard word is download and upload. You guys might have heard every time and you know about it. I don't have to explain it. But what actually is a download? Download is nothing but you are actually um, getting some of the information from the web server or from the websites to your system in a remote way, or to your own computer, from the network to your computer. So that we call it as a download. Then what is upload? It is exactly the opposite of a download. That is the act of transmitting data from local computer to other computer on the internet or the network. So that we call it as upload. And online and offline, this is a very heard and very uh, so many times we have heard this word. Then what is this online? Nothing but it's similar to whatever you have in WhatsApp. It will be online, offline, right? Online means what? You have the other person on the network, right? He is available on the network, you can see that person on the network or in the web. So that we call it as online. And if it is not available, it is just opposite to your online is offline. And we call it even for the printer or whatever the peripheral devices that does not support or that is not ready to work, and that also we call it as a offline. So these are the things that we have in basic internet terms. And next we'll be seeing about getting connected to the internet in the next video.